Welcome to the 2022 Kimberley Safari movie. I'm your host and Grumman Mallard captain, Dan Bolton. Group 2's journey started in Broome, Western Australia, and was to finish back at the home of the Mallards in Darwin, Northern Territory. After a lovely dinner the night before with myself, co-pilot Taiki and host Sue, the group gathered for the first photo with the aircraft before boarding the nostalgic vessel. Flight 1 of the tour departed Broome on track for the Kuri Bay Pearl Farm. Climbing en route along Cable Beach with the Indian Ocean out the port window, the aircraft descended to view the stunning Cape Leveque. We then tracked across the King Sound, home to some of the biggest tides in the world, heading for the Buccaneer Archipelago's 800 plus islands, including Coolin Island with its remarkable iron ore mine. The journey continued to the horizontal waterfalls. Described by David Attenborough as one of the greatest wonders of the natural world, the tide change flowing through the two narrow gaps can cause a 4 metre high horizontal waterfall. Next was the world's largest inshore reef, Montgomery Reef. The large tides expose vast lagoons and central mangrove islands, with cascading waterfalls on the reef's edge. Finally, with a small hop across the Camden Sound, the group arrived at Kuri Bay, home to Australia's first cultured pearl farm, for their first Grumman Mallard water landing of the tour. Time 0247.
47, copy.
Yep, shut it. With the Mallard securely tied to the refuelling raft, it was time for the group to settle into their rooms, relaxing with the stunning view of Kuri Bay from their balcony. All rested and refreshed, we jumped aboard Cape Villaray for a tour of the local area, with skipper Jamie and farm manager Nunny. After some sightseeing and a brief history of the area, we slowed the vessel down for a spot of fishing, a beer and some fresh Kimberley sea breeze, before returning to the Mallard raft to drop myself and Taiki off to relocate the aircraft to dry land for the night. Day 2 was upon us, and Taiki and I arrived early to Kuri Bay to ensure we didn't miss out on the exciting activities ahead. Final check gear.
Up port of water, up on the right.
Once again, we boarded Cape Villaray, this time in the spectacular calm morning waters of Golden Hour, on a short journey travelling along the south side of Augustus Island up to Port George, where we met up with the Paspaley harvest vessels. The Montoro, Christine and pride of the fleet Paspaley 4 were rafted together in full harvest swing. Paspaley 4 Captain Brett guided the group around the many complicated stages of the pearl harvest process, explaining in great detail the technical complexities of pearling. Brett had also arranged for a pearl reveal, opening up 6 shell to see what was inside.
Get it?
Just pop it out.
Oh, wow.
Is that mine?
Straight on the ear, you reckon?
Yeah, right. It's just amazing.
Who's up next?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. From here, it was up to the captain's lounge to inspect what the morning's harvest alone had produced. At the end of our spectacular, informative and memorable tour, we boarded the Villaray back to Kuri Bay, passing more scenery, flat Kimberley water and pearl lines, to board the Mallard for the group's second flight, onwards to Kimberley Coastal Camp. This flight was all about exploring the untouched vastness of the Kimberley coastline from the air, from the isolated and remote beaches to the turquoise waters. Everyone had their eyes intently out the windows. From the steep rock walls protruding upwards at Mount Trafalgar, we crossed the Prince Frederick Harbour and into the Hunter River and its beautiful mangrove waterways. Continuing onwards, we circled the ever-popular Mitchell Falls inside the Mitchell River National Park. Just a stone's throw away, we arrived at Kimberley Coastal Camp and jumped straight into the mission of catching dinner.
Yes, Phil. And a thong launch. Job, Tony.
The crab pots were strategically placed, and after a few short stories from owner Tub with beer in hand, it was time to check our traps.
Oh, that's spot on. Tell you what, there's a few blokes could learn something.
Big reveal. Nothing. There we go.
We got a mud trap. I can't believe it was Phil who got it either. Hey!
Oh! With mud crab for dinner, Taiki and I had to leave once again for the night. But with another full schedule planned on day 3, we departed the nearby Truscott Air Base just after first light to once again arrive early, rejoining the group and their incredible journey. It gets hot out in the Kimberley, so starting our Aboriginal art tour after breakfast was the key. Led once again by owner Tub, we discussed the many food sources of the barren landscape before stopping at our first art site. Tubbs' knowledge of the area and the history of the art is second to none, and everyone listens in awe at every story he shares. Walking into the bush with Tub is a fascinating journey into the Dreamtime stories behind the incredibly preserved rock art he leads you to. At several points, having to lie down on the dirt floor of a cave to see the roof, or squeeze through a narrow opening, we felt privileged to be viewing such a palpable record of Indigenous history. From the Wandjina art, Bradshaw paintings, and Gwion panels. After a couple of hours of exploring the art, it was time to head back to the camp for lunch before Flight 3, onwards to Berkeley River Lodge. Departing the camp, we got straight into the scenic flying, passing the impressive Steep Head Island and more of the sparkling coastline. Nearby Truscott Air Base, we overflew a World War II DC-3 wreck, still very much intact. And then continued on towards the King George River, home to the King George Falls. Tracking further to the southeast, we arrived overhead the Berkeley River Lodge. You don't land on an airstrip when you're in a flying boat though. You always take the water option. After unloading the guest into the transfer boat, Taiki and I relocated the Mallard to the strip for the night. Time to enjoy a beer with the guests. That afternoon we jumped aboard another safari vehicle and cruised along the sand dunes of the Berkeley for sunset drinks. It wasn't all smooth, however.
Was that Tazi? You right?
Watching the sun go down, we enjoyed each other's company for a memorable night. Day 4 had arrived, and we jumped aboard a river cruise vessel to relax all the way up a 22-kilometre stretch of the Berkeley River, stopping for a delightful cool-off in a freshwater swimming hole. The cruise continued, and so did our amazement, as we all stared around at the impressive cliffs upon us. All good things must come to an end, however, and that afternoon we departed Berkeley River Lodge, saying goodbye to the Kimberley by crossing the Joseph Bonaparte Gulf, passing the Darwin city on sunset and landing at Darwin Airport, ending an amazing experience for all involved.